The Grau Center for Professional Selling, which sits within the Lindner College of Business's marketing department, combines classroom teaching with experiential learning to create unique sales-focused academic and real-world learning opportunities to all students. We develop graduates who are extremely prepared for a successful sales career. One of those opportunities, the Spring Sales Expo, is quickly approaching. Slated for Wednesday, March 5th in Tangeman University Center's Great Hall on the campus of the University of Cincinnati, the Spring Sales Expo is an opportunity for students to engage with employers about co-op, internship, and full-time and part-time openings. My name is Grant Freaking, Manager of College Communications and Marketing at the Carl H. Lindner College of Business, and this is Bearcats Mean Business. Joining me today to talk about the Spring Sales Expo and all things sales at Lindner are Jennifer Barlow, the Grau Center for Professional Selling's Executive Director, and Sophie Legue, a fourth-year student at Lindner studying marketing and professional selling. Jennifer and Sophie, welcome to Bearcats Mean Business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Glad to have you. So, Sales Center. I'm going to talk to the Executive Director first. Jen, tell me all about the Sales Center. What's the who, what's the where, what's the when, why? There's plenty of stuff going on right now. What do the people need to know?
Absolutely. So we've been around since about 2011. The great thing about our program is that we are drawing students from across campus. So not just business students are taking our classes, but we've got students coming from A&S, from DAP and engineering. So it makes the classroom conversations really diverse and interesting. When you have an international business student sitting next to a ballet major with a civil engineering student, it just really makes for great conversations.
Yeah, truly interdisciplinary, as we like to say in the academic world around here.
There you go. Absolutely. Right. Yes.
And so what are some of the opportunities? I just read one off in the intro. Do students have to get involved and get critical career experience?
Yeah, so we do. I work with several student organizations. One is our Sales Leadership Club, and then our Elite Club, our Varsity Sales Team. That's the competitive sales team that is traveling to various collegiate competitions. And then our newly launched Medical Sales Club, because there's an interest from students to get into medical device sales or pharmaceutical sales. So really working with a lot of those students on bringing companies into the classroom or corporate partners into the classroom, working on a lot of different activities, if it's their elevator pitch, how to have a proper handshake, how to make eye contact with somebody, also teaching students how to have very good posture and confident posture when they're talking with strangers and talking with different employers.
And so they take all of these elements and go to career opportunities. Perhaps, Sophie, I think you've already got a job lined up, so maybe you won't be attending the Spring Sales Expo coming up March 5th. What do people need to know about that?
Absolutely. So for students, I say please register on Handshake ahead of time so I can print your name tags. So the companies that are coming are from a wide variety of industries. So we have, financial industries, we have packaging industries that are coming, as well as logistics and transportation. So really just want to expose students to the various industries that are there, a lot of different opportunities. And what I tell the students are that when you're meeting with that employer or that campus recruiter, keep in mind that they're also hiring for other opportunities. So if somebody is a digital marketing student or if they are a graphic designer, have that conversation with the employer to see what else might be available if they're not necessarily wanting to go a sales route.
And Sophie, for students who might be interested in going to the Sales Expo, what's the experience like as someone who's gone to a couple and plans to go to the one coming up in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, so it's a really great experience. I mean, I remember going to my first one, and honestly, when you're kind of younger, you don't take it as seriously. At least for me, I was like, I'm a freshman, I have plenty of time, but I would encourage, even if you're a freshman, sophomore, going to really try and make connections, network. Building your network earlier than later is going to be very beneficial I know internships are now required for the incoming freshmen, so it's great to get your foot in the door, even if they're only looking for sophomores, juniors. Getting your foot in the door, making your name known to some of these companies, early on is going to help you in the long run. So I say just make the most of your experience, try and make it to every single company if you can, and be open to different opportunities and different companies because there's a lot out there and some really great people to meet. So.
Sure. And I imagine it also helps break down some of the barriers and of the fear factor that maybe goes along to talking with strangers, but strangers who are also could be offering you a job.
Yes. Yeah.
So, That's
Absolutely. And I will say with the Sales Expo, I limit the number of companies that are there. So I'll cap it at about 50 because I don't want it to be too overwhelming for students to walk into the Great Hall and, you hear that buzz, but all that excitement.
Yeah.
But it's also only from 1 to 4 p.m. And so it's a very tight time frame, which I think benefits the students as well as the recruiters because people aren't exhausted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's only so much talking everyone can do.
Exactly. Yes.
3 hours sounds good. Yeah. Right. Sophie, let's talk a little bit about the why for how you ended up involved with the Sales Center and just sales academically in general. So walk me through your academic path and how you got to Lindner and then found your way into the sales realm.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually my older sister went to the University of Cincinnati and I visited a few times and I was like, this is a place I could see myself going to school. So I decided to come here and, business has been in the family. My parents both work in a business setting, so it's kind of what I've known. And I was like, you know what? Marketing is a very broad major, so I was like, you know what? Let's just start with this and see where it goes. And my dad actually is kind of like my mentor. He kind of has been helping me figure out my career path. And when I was talking to him about what I wanted to do, he was like, sales, I have some buddies that are in sales that really enjoy it because, I'm a people person. I enjoy talking to people, and I didn't really want to be sitting behind a computer on an Excel sheet for my career. So
yep, it's not for everyone.
Exactly. So, I started thinking about sales, and then I declared a sales minor and professional selling minor. And after that was around my sophomore year, and then I heard about the Varsity Sales Team, and I was a little unsure, but I decided to go to one of the practices, and I ended up loving it. I mean, junior year, my second semester, I got to compete in the Toledo competition, which I was actually chosen as an alternate, and the alternate basically is just a backup competitor if the competitors aren't able to compete. But I was put in a raffle, and I was chosen to compete, and it was the best experience I've had, honestly, in college.
Wow.
I learned a lot from it. I learned, going into that setting is really scary, being with someone that actually works for the company you're selling for. So they really know the product, and I'm sitting here like, I've never done this before. So it was really scary, and I didn't have a ton of time to prepare because, I wasn't planning on competing. So, but it ended up being kind of like the switch for me when I knew that sales is what I want to do. I'm like, I could really envision myself doing this as a career. And so the more I was on the sales team, I enjoyed it, got very involved, and I competed last semester, the spring or fall semester of my senior year, and I competed in Wisconsin, and that was a really great competition as well. We were selling Hormel ribbon pepperonis, which was very interesting and fun.
It's quite the road trip too.
Yes.
You have to drive up to Wisconsin for
that. It was honestly fun. Lots of practice, lots of time to practice. So that was really great. And then at the end of the semester, I competed in the internal competition, and I actually won my room, which is one of my goals that I had set for myself, and I was named the new student coach. So my last semester, I am the new student coach for the sales team. So just through all that experience, I realized that I'm really interested in sales and kind of what I want my career to be. So
so I haven't met one person that says, I'm going to college to get into sales. You kind of fall into it. And so I always encourage students to take one of the professional selling classes because you're always selling yourself. The life skills that the students are learning here is something that you'll just take forever. No matter what business setting you're in, no matter what position you're going to be holding, you're always going to be working with salespeople, really.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And my follow-up to your question was going to be if her path is similar, where students, obviously, like you said, don't necessarily come in wanting to do sales, and then it's sort of like they get introduced to the sales club or the sales team, and then they're hooked. Maybe not quite as hooked as Sophie, because you might have to drag her kicking and screaming away from the Varsity Sales Team when she graduates. But is that something that comes is like a similar path where students get involved that way?
Yes. So it's interesting because we've had quite a number of students that have joined their senior year, and they're like, dang, I wish I would have known about this sooner. And so we're always trying to get the messaging out about the Varsity Sales Team. It is a lot of work. They meet weekly for about an hour and a half on Monday evenings in our sales lab. And they're always practicing. And so it's a lot of work, but they also have a lot of fun, and the friendships that they make is forever, really.
Yeah.
And so if let's transition to some of your experiential learning experience. I'm talking co-ops, internships that you've had. Tell me about those, and I think you've already got a full-time job lined up as far as I understand. So let's hear about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first internship was with a logistics company, and I got a lot of experience, talking to customers and, potential customers,
Sure.
and just some negotiating skills. So it was a really interesting setting, being full-time for the first time, being in an office setting. It was very new. I had never done anything like it. So it was a really great start and a really good first internship.
Step.
Yeah, to get my foot in the door. So after that, my current internship, I've been here, this is my second semester, Millcraft Paper Company. I'm kind of in a customer service role right now. I'm getting to work with customers and take orders, learn the computer system, a new CRM system, and it's we have customers coming in every day. I really enjoy the relationship building aspect. Some of the customers that come in, I know a little bit about their life and just different things like that. So something I've really enjoyed, and I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do for full time, and I actually know a recruiter from the sales team.
Okay.
Her name is Alicia Flora, and she's a recruiter for Gartner. And I have met her through many events networking with the Varsity Sales Team, and I kind of just reached out to her. I was like, hey, I'm interested in potentially interviewing with Gartner. And so right after that, she set me up on the interview process, and I had a phone call with her, and I went through the interview process, and I actually got the job, which is great, down in Fort Myers,
That's
Florida.
awesome.
So
wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Be nice this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. So I'm very excited about that. It's kind of, I wouldn't say a dream company, but it was definitely the kind of company I was looking for and kind of shooting towards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll have a good long future with them, and I've heard a lot of great things about it. So I'm very thankful to the Varsity Sales Team for all the networking opportunities, because I might have not had this opportunity without it. So I think the Varsity Sales Team is also really great for networking and meeting different companies.
Evidently. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Students.
Yeah.
The networking works, especially for the Varsity Sales
Yes,
Team
it does.
involvement, right?
Yes.
What about your sales classes? I want to hear more about the academic side of that. Could you provide more explanation on that? I know that we've a popular one I'm thinking of, but I'm interested in hearing your full perspective on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first sales class I've ever taken was with Dr. Soika. It was one of my favorite classes I've taken in college so far. She just teaches confidence, teaches you how to sell, being confident, the posture, everything that Jennifer was talking about earlier. It's just a really great first class, and it really gets you excited about sales. And Dr. Soika teaches you don't have to be going into sales to learn about sales. It's important, like Jennifer was saying, you're always selling yourself. And so that was the first class that I had taken. And then I took a strategic selling class, which we actually got to do a case study at the end of the semester and kind of sell whatever product or service we were doing. And that was
another hands-on learning experience.
Yes.
Is what I'm gathering. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that was a really great experience as well. And then now I'm currently in an insight-based selling class, which is kind of like the sales team. We do role plays, sales call role plays. So it's a very different class, but I really enjoy it because, I love doing role plays and practicing the selling experience. So doing that for a class is challenging because it is a little bit different than what we do on the sales team, but it's a lot of fun and it's a new experience, and you really deep dive into the real experience of being in a job and learning different selling situations. So all of these classes have been really amazing. And honestly, I know it's cheesy, but they're my favorite classes I've taken. So
That's not cheesy at all. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
I will say the insight-based selling class is the most advanced class that we have, and the intention of that is to be doing all these sales simulations. And so they'll be doing like 3 or 4 throughout the semester.
Okay.
And most of the students that are taking that class will be going into a sales role upon graduation.
Interesting. Now, how does all of this hands-on experiential learning opportunities translate to the new sales lab we have up in the building that I think is being dedicated the same day of the Sales Expo? So you've set yourself up for quite the busy day there.
Absolutely. We're very excited about that. So the sales lab is on the 3rd floor. We have 10 small rooms, 10 breakout rooms. 6 of those have cameras in there, and we're able to record a lot of these different activities that the students are participating in. So the Varsity Sales Team is there every Monday night. Sometimes they're recording their role plays preparing for Toledo or the National Collegiate Sales Competition. Other times it's a class that's in there, and so we're recording the sales simulations, an elevator pitch, possibly mock interviews. The students are able to see themselves on video, good or bad. It is scary, I understand that, but they learn a lot from when they see themselves
the feedback.
Like how many times you say, yeah.
Yeah, the tape doesn't lie in those scenarios. So it provides very clear, I think, examples of, it's like me listening back to this when I need to edit out a podcast episode, right? It's very clear of like what you need to improve on. So there's no shying away from it.
Absolutely. And it's just a really great way for the students to improve their skills.
Right. Okay, we'll end with this. We got a recruitment plug. We need more varsity sales team members because some of the key members, like Sophie, are graduating out. So Sophie, why should underclassmen or even prospective students who maybe listen to this podcast consider joining the varsity sales team, even if they don't necessarily want to go into a sales-related employment field post-graduation?
Yeah. So I think that younger students, freshmen, sophomores, should get involved early. That's something I do regret a little bit, not getting involved sooner. So I think even if it's something that you're like, I don't know too much about this, joining the varsity sales team would be a great option. First of all, you can meet a lot of people, get really good experience, and maybe you start out just competing in the internal competition just here at UC, but then if you stay on the team a little bit longer, you can go and compete at Toledo or the national competitions that we have. So you can really see your progression and your growth a lot more, and a lot of people only join their junior year, like me. I joined my junior year, and I'm like, I wish I would have known about it a little bit sooner. Your progression that you'll see joining sooner is really going to pay off in the long run. And also, I think I learned a lot about interview skills through the sales team as well. So I think...
And those are applicable to all majors, no matter what you're graduating with, right?
Exactly. So, being in that professional setting with an executive person sitting across from you, it's a scary moment. Interviews are scary, but I really did learn a lot of great skills from the sales team and just being able to talk to professionals and that kind of thing. So you can just get a lot. There's so much that you get out of the varsity sales team, and I highly encourage young students to get involved.
Well, and the other thing with Varsity Sales Team and with the various activities that we have in the Sales Center, I'm always bringing our corporate partners and employers into the classroom to work with all these activities, work with the students constantly. And so the employers are having a great FaceTime with the students, and the students are getting more comfortable in speaking with recruiters and developing that confidence. And with the Varsity Sales Team, you're going to keep seeing those same people again and again as they're getting more involved with our students.
My thanks to Jennifer and Sophie for joining me today on Bearcats Mean Business. Remember, the Spring Sales Expo will be held Wednesday, March 5th in Tangeman University Center's Great Hall on the campus of University of Cincinnati. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing or leaving a 5-star review for Bearcats Mean Business on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And in true sales fashion, I'm going to let Jennifer have the last word before we sign off.
Absolutely. I would encourage everybody to take a sales class. Take that professional selling class, learn some of these skills. It's life skills, and you're always selling yourself. And also join the Varsity Sales Team.
Yes.
Thanks again for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bearcats.